Travis in Virginia says, I've heard multiple people mention that Brad Armstrong was hilarious in the locker room but couldn't connect in a promo. Why does Dutch think that is? Was he trying to do a poor imitation of Bullet Bob? Or what held him back?
Hey, Brad Armstrong, very few people could hold a candle to him in the ring. He could do it all. He was light on his feet. He was not as big as some of those guys, which helped him because he was a baby face. But when he got on camera, he just froze. Now, you get him on the camera sometimes in the back, and he was a little better, but I think he got so nervous talking. And you know, if he could have done a half an interview like Dusty or some of them, he'd have been a bigger star than what he was. But and all those Armstrongs, they were all good, all of them. Actually, the worst of them did the best. Actually, Road Dogg wasn't a great wrestler, but he had a great character and could do a great interview.
Well, isn't there a lesson right there?
Yep. And he was Brad out there doing leapfrogs and drop kicks and head scissors and this and that and the other and looking flawless, not a mistake at all. And he had see, a good babyface has good balance. When they say they give you a head scissors, they got to ride you up, and then it's a timing issue anyway. But you didn't see Road Dogg doing that stuff. He just get in there, beat the crap out of it, and you started to come back on it and you go home. 5 or 6 minutes, and he would do that.
I find it crazy with Brad because I don't know if you know this, in like '99 when Russo got to WCW, they put him on TV again, and they gave him the character Buzzkill, which was meant to be a complete Road Dogg ripoff. And he couldn't do it, and it was terrible. And the thing was, like, these guys are brothers. How can be one so charismatic on screen and one only be charismatic not on screen?
You know, Brian was the youngest, and he was the biggest. Seemed like, you know, it should have went the other way or something, but Brian was taught by his father, and Brian had all these years to watch his father. And Bob, I know he's not with us anymore either. Great guy, but he didn't do anything in the ring other than do a comeback and do his knees. He would do his knees together. People just go nuts. A stupid move like that. And he knew it was stupid. That's why he did it. But he would go into the ring, and, you know, you wouldn't have to go like 20 minutes with him. 10 minutes with Bob Armstrong, 12 minutes, that's it. You was getting out of there. So, but he was easy to get heat on. He was over too. And he wore that bullet mask, and everybody knew it was him, but it's one of those deals where, you know, I think he lost a lose or leave, and he came back as the Bullet, and he just kept the mask on.
Yeah, I still find it crazy that they were brothers, because they just look the complete opposites in how they presented themselves on screen. And like, but the thing is, I don't get is that Brad had 30 years, and he start in the business tagging with his dad, Brad, as well. So you would have thought that like somehow like the on-screen thing would develop over time.
I don't know who the oldest was.
I thought it was Brad. I figured it was Brad.
I don't think I may be wrong, but I know that Road Dogg was the baby of the bunch.
Scott Armstrong is the oldest. Then Brad Armstrong was a year younger. So there you go.
Okay.
So go Scott, Brad, Steve, Brian.
See, what would I do without you?
Well, you wouldn't record a podcast because we know you can't get your camera working.
And I knew that, not definitively, but Scott surprised me by being the oldest.
Yeah, he started after Brad as well.
And then it was, and who was the other brother?
Stevie,
and then
and then Brian.
Road Dogg told me one time. He said, "Dutch Mantell, you son of a bitch." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I hated you." Because Bob, I don't think he smartened them up for a long time. They thought this wrestling was real, I think. And he said, I hated you and I wanted to beat the crap out of you. And I said, I'd have killed you, Brian. And he said, "Oh, I'd kill you right now." But he did tell me that, but he was a big fan of it. So when you talk to somebody like that, that's a big fan, you know the other fans are going to follow suit. And I liked it better when everybody was kind of believed all the wrestlers didn't like each other, and anything could happen.